offering also projects to work with students at an international level. Thank you for the recording. Remember that this will be recording for our members and for the people that cannot make it today, right? It will be in our YouTube channel as usual. So let me show you what we have been doing so far. Okay, so thank you very much for being here today, right? And it's a great pleasure for us, yeah, to have you all here. If you have not done so already, please write in the chat box where you are joining us from. We can see that there are people from all over the world, Ghana, Greece, and also Malaysia, Indonesia, Argentina. This is wonderful. This is just a summary. What you have just seen in the video is just a summary of what we have done so far. I would like to start by expressing our sincere gratitude today to every one of you for being here. As usual, it's a great pleasure for our club to see so many amazing teachers from all over the world. Now, thank you very much for taking the time to join us. I would also like today to extend a warm welcome to our special guests. We have Shay Asensio and November. Welcome here and thank you for being here. Today, we are going to explore how the brain fuels connection, kindness, and collective well-being. They will share science-backed practices to strengthen relationships, nurture compassionate school cultures, and spark meaningful student-led community change. Shay, Don, would you like to introduce yourselves, or would you like me to do so?
Whatever works for you folks. Happy to.
Okay, good. So I will say some words about you and then you can read and give some more information. Don is driven by family, authentic action, nature, and reflection. He's an international school service learning educator with a passion for supporting those around him to develop their service leadership endeavors, especially young solutionary change makers. He's inspired by the ways in which we can collaboratively draw on a constellation of knowledge, skills, and dispositions to regeneratively solve some of the world's deepest systemic challenges. Wow, that's amazing. Shay Asensio, my dear Shay, she's a mama, partner, friend, sister, and daughter, and living in Canada at the moment, and Dom living in Budapest. Shay is an international educator with extensive experience in inquiry and conceptual-based learning, skilled in teaching across students across grades 1 to 12. Shay's deep commitment lies in leading community-driven solutionary approaches, global citizenship and community engagement initiatives, enhancing collaborations with youth, educators, and organizations globally. So now, yes, Shay and Dom, the floor is all yours. We are ready to listen to you. And if you want to say some more words about you, here we are.
Thank you so much, Marcela and the Global Teachers Club. community. We're so happy and excited to be here today. Thank you for the invite. We're thrilled. We know you are a very strong and close-knitted community, so thank you again for having us. We are so honored. And we'll kick it off. We're so excited to share this content with you. Dom and I, you're gonna laugh. We met on LinkedIn, and we were sharing how passionate we are about, obviously, about education. We're both international educators, and we had this common interest in how does the brain work, and it's so relevant as teachers. We should know what is happening in our brains, in our students' brains, especially because they're growing, right? They're developing and how this can impact education. So we put our heads together and started doing some informal research of what's already being created and research that it's being done. And we've come up with some exciting models and frameworks. Dom, I'll toss it to you.
Thanks, Shay. Hey, everyone. It's so good to be here. And yeah, it was when Shay contacted me back in 2023, I think it was, Shay, and we were starting to discuss our passions and came across the idea of looking at the brain a little bit more closely. Uh, I'm originally a biology teacher, so this really hit the nerd side of me pretty well, and I love that. And we just went for it, and we're on an investigative path, and we're trying to pull as many people along as we can because you, the teachers, are the real practitioners. We can talk about the science, we can talk about the lab, we can talk about, you know, all of the data, but at the end of the day, who's doing it in practice? It's the teachers in the classroom. And so we're trying to discover this and uncover some of the phenomena around around brain science and looking at learning through that lens. And we're also, as you can see on the screen, we've been very, very excited and humbled and just so in tune with so many different people around the world over the last few years. And you can see just this is just some of the places that we have been integrating with either through professional learning or through conferences. Most recently, we have been working pretty closely with the National Youth Leadership Council in the United States and doing amazing conference work there with them. And some of the more local things like the Solutionary Summits and the Change Makers Conference, these are student-run conferences, and they are done by student change makers for student change makers. It's if you ever have the opportunity to get to one, I highly recommend it. It is very powerful. And we are just excited to bring all of this learning together with you today and explore some more of the brain science behind learning.
Thank you, Dom. We want to, before we dive into more of the exciting content, we want to acknowledge neurodiversity and that, you know, each brain is unique. Each one of us has a different way to learn, a different pace, different tastes. So honoring how in each individual is different is important to us. Also expect, we know that a lot of you might be on your phones, on other devices, but expect a lot of interaction. We're gonna ask you to share in the chat, to join a whiteboard, a Zoom whiteboard for you to interact. So expect that from our end. And yes, let's dive in.
Yeah, Shay is talking about interactivity. This is a big part of what we're trying to do with the things that we're investigating. And obviously, the best thing would be to be in person with you in a room and we're engaging. But we're excited to try and bring as much interactivity as possible today. And so we want to welcome you to our session, Igniting Positive Change Through Brain Science and Action. And just a quick disclaimer, we are not neuroscientists. We're very, very interested in this topic. We're driven by it. At the moment, it's something that is on our minds constantly. And we're looking to uncover a lot of what might be missing in some of the research when it comes to the classroom itself. And we are looking to people such as yourselves and many around the world for those keen insights, those that deep learning that we know happens on a daily basis, and trying to see how this all works together, how this all fits together. So we're curious, we're keen learners, just like you. We do informal research, and we're trying to just bring you along for the journey. So please jump on board, and we're ready to explore together. So in our first activity that we'd like to do with you all, if you can all please uh, just have a look on the screen. We're going to have a video for you, and we're going to play a video that is going to maybe challenge a little bit of your thinking here. And we want you to tap into this idea of emotion. So as you're watching the video, we'd like you to think about how are your emotions changing throughout the time span of the video. And we'd like you to be as interactive with this as possible. So Shay has just put a link to a whiteboard, an interactive whiteboard, into the chat. We checked beforehand. It seems to work fine on your phone as well. So if you're on your phone, hopefully that works. And please write in the chat if there's anything that you need while we're explaining some of the instructions for you. So while we're watching the video, you'll notice there is a line, what we're calling the emotional line. And if we were in person in a room together, we'd be physically walking this line together, and it would be very interactive, and it'd be this attaching that physical aspect to the learning. But for you guys, we're asking you to jump into that whiteboard area, and you'll notice on the left-hand side there is a line for you to navigate as we're going through the video. And on one end of the video, on one end of the line, if you think of the line as a spectrum, on one end of the line is the sort of challenging emotions, right? If you are seeing something in the video that is challenging a challenging emotion, something that is making you feel a little bit, maybe that made me feel a little bit bad, or it impacted my mood negatively, or made me feel less connected to something, then navigate yourself using your little icon towards that side of the line. And on the other side of the line is sort of the uplifting emotions. So Shay, can we go to the next slide just to show them those key phrases? And so when you're on the uplifting side, it's really about, what made you feel good. Maybe something made you feel good. Maybe that impacted your mood positively. Maybe it made you connect or feel closer to something. And so using this line as a spectrum, as a gradient, we'd love you to interactively move your icon along the line as your emotions change. And we expect them to change throughout the video. So as we're going through the video, feel free to keep moving that icon of yours, keep moving it around as you feel different things. And just notice as well what's going on with your own emotions, but also notice what's going on with the people around you as well. Shay, would you like to jump in there?
No, that's brilliant. Thank you, Dom. Please give us a thumbs up if you can access the board. We see a few people there, so it seems it might be working. As you can see, there's those green dots on the board. I'm gonna go back there again. Where did it go? Okay, I think we're there. Can you see it, Marce and just trying to share the board, but it's sharing my whole screen. Okay, so you can see there's some dots here on the side, so you can
We can't see the dots, Shay. Sorry, it's not projecting the dots. We've got a few other things in front of it.
Okay, sorry about that. But you can see the whiteboard. Okay, brilliant.
Not on the screen, but
Not
on
on
our
the screen, but
on
on
our own
your.
end, yes.
Brilliant. So yeah, oh, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Mariana. Okay, lovely. So you can move those around. Okay. I'm gonna pop the link again in the chat. There it is. And I'm going to start sharing the video so you can move those little green dots on the board as Tom say. Interact with it as you're watching. See what emotions come up for you. Oh, you can share in the whiteboard. There we go.
Former Cambodian garment worker becomes Adidas co-CEO.
Yes, you heard it right. From working on the factory floor to jointly running one of the world's biggest brands. An amazing rags to riches story.
I am Wayanapon. I am a newly appointed co-CEO of Adidas.
She starts work on Monday, and that's when we have the fashion show at Plata and unveil all of the different, what we call attitudes. It's not just designs, it's attitudes. And she's going to be there signing the agreements.
We had just landed in Berlin and we were guided into a room where clearly a runway show was going to happen. We were handed a slip of paper. Basically, they're saying that all of the labor abuse stuff that they've been doing for the entirety of the company's history is going to stop in a really big, specific way.
For a company that's long denied underpaying its workforce, the Adidas announcement was a spectacular victory for the forces of good. But was it all too good to be true? I'm afraid it was.
What's your real name, though?
My real name is Lion, or Ling Lion. I am a freelance journalist from Cambodia, where I cover garment factory issues. My editor assigned me to go to the factories, a bunch of factories in Cambodia that supply to Adidas. តម្លៃពលកម្មករក្នុងម្នាក់តម្លៃមិនស្មើអាវគេមួយដែលយកទៅលក់នៅស្រុកក្រៅផងហើយវិញទៀតអ្វីដែលខ្ញុំធៀបពួកខ្ញុំធ្វើខោអាវមួយទាំងមូលប៉ុន្តែការចំណេញរបស់គេវាច្រើនមួយរាប់ពាន់ដុល្លារប៉ុន្តែការទទួលបានរបស់ខ្ញុំមិនបានមកចំណេញប៉ុណ្ណឹងផងតែនិយាយចឹងពេលខ្ញុំចង់ផ្ញើសារទៅដល់លីណាសូមឲ្យជួយផ្ដល់ប្រាក់អត្ថប្រយោជន៍ទាំងអស់ដល់កម្មករដែលប៉ះពាល់សម័យ COVID ផង
What happened when the pandemic hit is that brands refused to pay for their orders. They refused to pay for orders that were still in production and sometimes orders that were already completed. The brands like Adidas are simply able to just walk away and say, oh, we see that you're legally owed the money, but it's not our responsibility.
ចង់ផ្ញើទៅអ្នកប្រើប្រាស់នឹងដើម្បីសង្កត់តែ Adidas ដើម្បីឲ្យផ្ដល់ជាអ្វីមួយជាប្រាក់អីដែលសមរម្យឲ្យអ្នកដែលខាងផលិតនឹងឲ្យស្មើ
We have been calling on Adidas to sign the pay your workers agreement for quite a long time. So once they sign, they will commit to ensuring the end to wage and severance theft throughout their supply chain. It will involve setting up a severance guarantee fund, which would cost brands approximately 10 cents or less per item. We've done a lot of actions outside Adidas stores worldwide, but yet they still haven't taken any steps. So we really needed to make it unavoidable. And that's where the idea of working with the Yes Men came in.
Who are you with?
We are with.
All right. If you have access to SEMA Academy is an excellent organization that has educational videos. It's a full library. If you have access to it, we highly recommend it. It's an excellent mini documentary. Thank you, Marcella. Yes, please share in the chat what emotions bubble up for you. What came up as you were watching this video? Thank you, Marcella. I see anger. Yes. Pity, compassion. Excellent. Even at the beginning, maybe some excitement, like, ooh, what is this about, right? Some curiosity arising there. And then definitely mine moved to the other side of that line that Dom showed us earlier. What about you, Dom?
Yeah, I think towards during over the course of the video, it definitely changes for me. It's something that it goes from this almost this hope, but we also know that there's something deeper coming. And so as we start to uncover the depth of it, then we start to realize those things like, I see here in injustice, lack of fairness. And as we start to uncover this can bubble up some new emotions in us, right? And it challenges our idea of maybe something that we might have thought was good, something like a global brand, that was everywhere in front of our eyes, and now all of a sudden we start to gather a deeper insight into it and starts to question some things on moral and ethical grounds.
Exactly. So this brings us to our PAX model. As Dom and I were doing this informal research, we identify 4 main areas that we can activate in the brain or deactivate as well, right? Lit up or turn it down. And these 4, they're very wide areas, are the social, we call it PAX because we use the initials, P for physical, A for affective, the emotional side, which we just experienced it very briefly right now, S for social, and C for cognitive, the intellectual side. Tom, do you want to tell us more about it?
Yeah, so I'm wondering as well at the moment what you might be thinking, where this model might have come into that very video. We talked about the emotional side, but we can see that there's a lot of things that might come up in terms of, the cognitive side might be getting us thinking about, how do these injustices work? What is the system like? Why does it lead to these consequences, right? The social side of it and the social disparity between the consumer versus the people producing it. And so how do we reconcile with all of these differences? And we think that the brain is a great way to view this, because we ultimately have to engage with these on multiple levels. And so the PAX model is something that Shay and I we developed it in 2023, and it's been something that we've built a lot of our research around, and even some of the things that we've produced, some of the writings, some of the conferences, and our course as well, that has been centered around this PAX model. We believe it's a way that we can use it as a lens to look at learning and look at impact through learning. And so we're excited to bring you along and give you a little bit more of a taster of this model. But as you can see, we really honed into the affective side just for that video itself, thinking about, what are some of the brain chemicals that might be triggered, that might be rising up during this time, and what are some of the associated emotions with that as well.
So as Dom just mentioned, we're zooming in into the affective side, that area and those emotions that arise as we engage in different types of learning, in different experiences. And the affective side of learning, it's very powerful. It's extremely powerful because you can either elevate the mood, make someone feel excited, happy. You can create trust through affective learning. But the opposite can also happen, right? You can make someone feel sad or less. And in learning, we can leverage on this affective learning if we use it in an ethical and positive way. During one of our courses, a student said, wouldn't that be manipulating emotions? And we thought it was such a good point to bring up, because as the video show, right, Adidas, if you watch all their ads, if you watch, all their campaigns and everything that they put in front of you, it makes us feel excited, right? They are manipulating in many ways their content to draw you and to make you buy their product. And if you think of many other brands within your own context, your own countries, they do the same. They leverage on that affective side to hook you in, right? But as educators, we can use it in a positive way. We can create activities, engagements, bring people from the community that would lift us up, right? That would make us feel excited about learning, that would inspire us to take action, that will open up our eyes to knowledge that we might not know yet. And it's important, right, that we are aware of everything that can be achieved if we tap on that affective side of learning. There's two main chemicals, and we won't go too deep into it, but there's two chemicals that and more that arise, right, when we tap on that affective side. Serotonin, as you can see, it all those emotions arise, and oxytocin. And again, as we mentioned before, this also can be manipulated, right, and make you feel like, ooh, this is so exciting. I feel so happy, and we all experience that with social media as well. But there we are, just zooming in into that affective side, just for you to have a taste of what it's like when we tap into that side. And we want to share with you some examples of how you can very concretely, can tap on this side of the emotions. When I work at Luanda International School, one of the ways that I work with my students and with my team was to get out into the community. Get out into the community, because we have so much, there's so many assets in the place where you are, where you live in. And we went on a lot of observation walks and drives, and by seeing what was in our surroundings, students were experiencing firsthand a lot of different emotions, and those emotions made them care about what they were seeing, about what they were experiencing. This is an example of a community that we visited, and they learn from people, and they observe that the lake was highly polluted, and it used to be, you can see on the photo here at the bottom, it used to be populated with mangroves, a very special tree that thrives in salty water. It's an extremely special tree. And those mangroves help to stop floods. So it was a very populated area. Communities were flooding, and also their livelihood, their main livelihood was fishing, and that was disappearing as well. So they took action, just using that affective side, knowing that seeing what was happening, talking to people in that community will activate, right? That affective side of learning, connection, immediately made them care. Very long story short, these are the areas that it connected with. These were grade 11 and grade 12 students. It was connected to environmental systems and societies, biology, and global citizenship. What they did was to reforest the coastline of Angola. And it's been an ongoing project, and they have excellent photos of how it was like when they started and what it's like now. And of course, in collaboration with organizations from the region. Tom, do you want to talk about this one? A school that joined our course.
Sure. Thanks, Shay, for sharing. And we had recently a group of teachers join one of our course cohorts from the American International School of Guangzhou in China. And what particularly stood out to us here was, definitely for me, was that we during the course we have our participants of the course build a project piece by piece throughout the course. As they're uncovering their learning about the brain, they are developing this project that at the end of it, they have a workable learning plan for something that they want to implement in the classroom that's not only going to help students learn about the content in their particular subject area, but it's also going to help students have an impact in some way. And in this particular example, one of the teachers, as you can see here on the slide, his name is Alex. Shout out to Alex for this amazing project that he put together. And I was particularly intrigued because when Alex joined, he says, I'm a PE teacher, physical education. And I said, oh, how is this going to go? Because this is not traditionally something that you usually see. A PE teacher that is trying to do impact learning through physical education. And what he decided to do was bring together this idea of movement, the PE side of things, and mindfulness. And his particular area was mindfulness around ethical consumption of the things that we use in physical activity, in sport, for example. And so his particular project was designing a learning plan, designing a unit for the students in grade 8 to 10, a project called Beyond the Brand. So very much in line actually with the video that Shay introduced to us earlier, thinking about the brand of some of our sporting goods and going beyond it and diving a little bit deeper into, what goes into the making of anything that we wear as sports people. And so it was a very innovative plan, integrating a lot of critical thinking, ethical awareness, global citizenship, and he used our PAX model as a pathway to plan and implement this particular project. And he described it as not something that it doesn't only redesign physical education, but it revolutionizes it. And he was looking at it by saying that it's connecting movement with meaning. And students are developing not only their physical literacy, but also ethical reasoning, systems thinking, and empathy while they were going through this particular project. And so, yeah, we were very excited to see the final product that Alex produced.
Amazing. And what I love about our PAX model is that once you learn, you become more knowledgeable about each one of these areas, of these domains, then you can very intentionally, right, plan on how you can activate and how you want students to be engaged. So all those areas, if we had those special, very specific equipment that neuroscientists use, you could see how the brain lights up, right? How the brain, especially in kids, right, and in young adults, the brain is still developing, very much so. For men, it's research shows that the prefrontal cortex is still growing until they are close to 30 years old. In women, it finished developing before, when you're around 25 in average. So, this is so crucial for us as educators. You're not surprised, Marce, are you? Right? That it's women develop first. Exactly. Yes. So it's very crucial that we know as educators, right, what is happening in the brain and the areas that we can leverage on to create meaningful learning.
Shay, if I can just stay on that just for a minute, sorry. I'd like to just jump in because I know we talked about how to make this tangible. And Shay, if you can just skip back to the previous slide. What Alex did here with his students, and you can imagine what this would be like for the students. He turned the gym into what he called a physical laboratory. So he really had students physically experience global supply chains. So they set up activities where students had to go through a series of movements that that kind of mimicked a particular global supply chain, thinking about how does a product start, how does it get developed, and how does it finish. They did ethical fitness challenges. They created sustainable alternatives to conventional athletic clothing. It was, something that was incredibly tangible for the students. It wasn't just him at the start saying, we're going to move a lot in this unit, and just be aware of, all of the things going on in the world. that wasn't his approach. His approach was really to integrate that idea of injustice, that idea of disparity between different people. He really integrated that into the lessons and into the activities themselves. So again, shout out to Alex, and just giving you an idea about how he made this tangible for the students. And we can imagine how the students were, right? Not only are they moving in PE, but they're learning about deep social issues. They're learning about how to potentially solve them as well. And students are coming out of those classes feeling empowered, not just by their physical movement, but also by their mental movement.
Beautiful. I love how he created these, just a very, it seems like a simple mapping of how he was going to work on that emotional side to create connection. And it doesn't have to be super complex, right? But just having these ideas and intentionally thinking of how you're going to unfold these experiences for students can get you to more meaningful learning. If you're liking this content, we have something very special for Global Teachers Club folks and everyone in this school, and I know people are going to watch it. As we mentioned, we have a course that walks you through different areas of our PACS model and specific projects. We've offered this course to many teachers around the world. The course value is $350, but for you, my friends, are very special to us. Thanks for having us here. We have a very special price of $40 for the 15 first people who are keen. You can scan that code and join our mailing list. And then we have also a special offer for you of a pay what you can. We believe, like, as a teacher, I'm sure, Dom, you too, and Marcy, I know you so well, I know you too. Many times we put out of our own pocket, so we want to also offer a pay what you can option. Dom, do you want to add anything there? And we have more content for you, by the way.
Yeah, so just echoing what Shay says, and you can scan the QR
Sorry,
code.
Shay, Dom, but the QR code is not working. Shows that it's deactivated.
Okay.
Oh, no.
What you can do then is everyone can go to I'll put the link directly in the chat so that everyone can see it. And you can sign up for our mailing list on our webpage. But if you are also wanting to take advantage of, being one of those first 15 that would like to jump in, please email us directly as well. All right, just to say that you would like to be part of this, and we'll make sure that we'll add you to the list and get back to you very soon. Our email address is on screen at the moment, and Shay has just put the link to our mailing list in the chat, and so you can contact us through the email address. And don't forget to sign up on our mailing list so that we can keep bringing you some important offers and some great content.
Brilliant. I popped both of them. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you, Marissa, for letting us know. Yeah, and as you saw, we collaborate with groups of teachers and also with schools. Some schools say, we want you to train, a group of teachers, and that's very powerful. Alex is part of a group like that one, who 15 teachers are being trained, and the schools find it has more impact, and it creates also more. What's the word I'm looking for here? They are training now other teachers. They're passing on this knowledge to other teachers. Capacity. It builds on capacity. Yes, I like this example. I really like this example from a school in Ho Chi Minh City. This teacher, Dom, please remind me her name. It just escaped my.
Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy. She leads service learning, global citizenship at her school. And again, it goes back to intentionality. Very intentionally, I appreciate how she looked at her own context. They have a river, the Saigon River, and similar to that, for example, right? She's using that to provoke thinking to ignite curiosity and tap on those emotions, right? She knows that is relevant because it's in their own context. And she's bringing also other resources. As you can see, she has a video from National Geographic to add to waking up those emotions right at the beginning, and then making connections to real world issues that are manifesting in a specific way in their city. So with this, she launched this idea with the students. This is again secondary students, and this very specific plan. Even just tapping on very specific emotions, which I love. I love that she did that. And you can see how all of these plans look different. Alex's looks different from Tracy, right? And we love that flexibility. You can adapt it to what you're doing at your own school, even down to activities that you might be doing tomorrow, right? It doesn't have to, it's unique the way you plan it. Tom, you want to add anything about this one?
Yeah, I just, again, just to say how varied the responses were from our different participants in the courses over the years. And you can see here, for example, Tracy is using something that we used in this session with you all. We used a video to provoke thinking. And, that provocation is very key. And we all know how important it is to grab the attention of students at the beginning of a class. But what even better way to do it than making them think deeply about something as we're grabbing that attention. So we were excited to see how this project unfolded from Tracy as well. And I think just that key word that Shay brought up of intentionality, we can say that certain things might be happening in our classes or not, or in our communities or not, but being intentional with it and really trying to notice it and even trying to measure it and grab evidence of it allows us to tell a story of the learning and see how it's impacting students and their day-to-day learning and their own brains and their development.
Beautiful. So we love some interaction here from you. Just after looking at these examples, what are some, just thinking of your own context and community, what are some assets that you can identify in your community? Sometimes even we don't have to go outside of the community, your own school, even your own classroom, that can spark curiosity, interest, and emotions. I share with you that immediate community for us in Luanda, for Alex, right? They're leveraging on his own class, PHE. And then from there, we can think of how we can cultivate, use those assets, use those elements that you can identify to create an experience that you can bring to your students and connect in an emotional way, making that experience way more relevant, and also making the students care about it, right? There's always a unit in our program or a specific element that you can leverage on and be intentional to bring in that emotional side. Can you bring a guest speaker that the students can interact with, where they can share their stories? Can you bring them on a walk, even on your own campus? So let me see what's here in the chat. Thank you, Michael. Oh, wonderful. Yes, I love to hear ideas from you and how you can leverage on that environment piece. You're a solutionary educator, so that's brilliant. You already know all the good practices and how to be an activist. So can you imagine? There's so many concrete examples, right? And we're living through times where we know the planet is struggling because of our actions. So Michael, you probably already thinking, right, of a specific ways you can engage students by tapping on that affective side of the brain. Brilliant. Anyone else who wants to share a little bit there in the chat, or please feel free to unmute. And perhaps in the meantime, Dom, I'm thinking of the Changemakers Conference, right? Where the students connect with each other. Do you want to share a little bit about that? And that's an affective, right? Affective side of the way, the brain is social.
Absolutely. There's such a, the Changemakers Conference is something that I've been a part of for so long, and it started at Frankfurt International School in Germany, and has evolved. It's got a very unique model. It's a student created and student run event. Obviously, there are teachers and mentors in the background, but really the students are front and center, and they don't just appear on the day of the conference and make it happen. It takes a good part of a year to plan, and the students are doing everything from recruiting international speakers to organizing the schedule to making sure that there's going to be food for everyone to the buses. So they are really taking charge of the entire thing. And when you bring those students together to talk about change making, one of the big pieces that they really leverage is this affective side of the brain, and getting each other to really tap into what does this feel like to make a difference in the world, and why do we need to do the work that we're doing. And obviously that social piece as well that Shay mentioned is a massive component of the conference, because it's one thing knowing that you want to change the world by yourself. It's another thing to know that there's a number of people next to you that want to do it too. And so we have these students coming together and networking and growing together as well during the conference, and then creating very lasting friendships and becoming part of groups in between conferences to plan and execute powerful impact projects. So it's really a wonderful time, and yeah, stay tuned for more. If you want to know more, please reach out to us. I'm happy to give you a lot more information. I was fortunate enough to be one of the teachers last year to mentor the students at my school, and it was our school that ran the entire conference. And it was the third conference, it's the third year of the conferences. The conference, the baton gets passed year upon year, so it goes to a new school every year. Quite a unique model. And I was very fortunate to work with some amazing changemaker students, and the community that we're part of as well. Shay knows all about the community that we have of educators that are behind these students and really supporting them and helping them, elevate them to a platform that they can then take advantage of. So if you are wanting to know a little bit more, please reach out. I'd happily integrate you and give you a little bit of insight into what we're doing.
Thank you, Dom. And we want to leave you with this reflection routine and a strategy. And please feel free to share in on the board, or not on the board, sorry, here in the chat or mute if you're feeling keen. But just to get you thinking about how this very small part of the work that we do, has stretched or extended your thinking about the work that you're doing in your classrooms, at your own schools, depending, if you have an administrator position or if you are every day in the classroom with students. What would you like to start applying, even in your own life, right? Like sometimes when we start with ourselves, it becomes more powerful because we know what it feels like. And then we can bring it to the classroom more intentionally. And finally, how can we support you? We want to be there with you. We want to make sure that we're guiding you and supporting you along the way. And we're excited. We're excited to see some of you as part of our course and part of the Neuropack community. As you can see, that second part, pack, it really refers to Neuropack, to a community, right? To educators who are joining us and becoming part of this larger family. Thank you, Stella, for sharing.
Stella, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, is so good to see what you just wrote. Shay and I are very massive proponents of storytelling and the narrative that we have. And I think one of the things that we focus on a lot is how do we tell the story? And it taps into that idea of that affective, emotional side of the brain. How do we keep people tuned in to what we're doing, what we're trying to do, and get people feeling like they are part of it as well? And I think that storytelling is something that we as humans are conditioned to hear stories. We want to hear stories. It's the way that we pass on our culture. It's the way we pass on our knowledge. And having that, I'm really glad that you're focusing on narrative and storytelling. It's so important to have voice through that medium.
Beautiful. Yes, I'll share the video that it's from SEMA Academy. You do need a membership, but for those of you also who have joined the solutionary framework courses, the micro credential, there's a special, right, Marce? A special access, so you can access this through there as well. And I just pop it in the chat for you. But we have used in the past very, very good videos from them. So yeah, highly recommend it. And there's some really powerful ones also on YouTube for free that you can search. Also make sure that they are, well, as teachers we all do, right? That they're appropriate for our young audiences. But yeah, we want to close by saying thank you so much to the Global Teachers Club, Marcela and T, and everyone who works. You work tirelessly to keep this going. So thank you for having us, and it's been such a pleasure to be part of this space today.
You here. And what I started thinking about problems that could spark your interest. That's what I started writing in the Zoom board. But then when I read assets, I started thinking what I could do, right? So what I use really every day to spark curiosity and interest in my students. Very interesting webinar, right? This question of sparking interest, curiosity in our students, and making the brain connect and work on all these special things. It's really so important for us educators, as you have mentioned, right? Not all of us here, I think, have done the solutionary micro-credential course. So I think that this pack that you have is really very interesting for us to take all these to the classrooms, right? Some of you some people want to have would like to know how you take all this to the classrooms, or how you work with this in the classroom, what you do in the classroom. Could you please enlarge on this a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. So what we offer in our course is that we walk all our participants a step through a step, as you saw very briefly from Alex's example and from Tracy's example. We give them steps to plan intentionally the areas that they want to activate. And at the end of the course, everyone walks away with plans to bring to the classroom, using our models and specific tools and strategies that we have. So we have now a library, a library of different examples that teachers have created, and that's how we've been able to also follow, right, what they're doing, which is very, very exciting. Dom, do you want to add anything else there?
That's wonderful. Here you have lots of comments. Yeah, Dom, tell us. Sorry.
Yeah. I think we're, through our course in particular, we have a roadmap for everyone to be able to create these sorts of things, and we give many examples, not just the ones that you saw today, but many other examples to inspire you and to use as a foundation, if you'd like, to say, oh, I see how those teachers did that. I could definitely do something in my classroom in a similar way. But also with the model itself, as Shay was talking about earlier, how flexible it can be and how different people approach it very differently. And so you might find you might surprise yourself. There's a lot of creativity in our course, and we're very open to how people interpret it and how the direction that they want to take it.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm very interested, and I've already put my name on the list. But could you please repeat the topic in the chat? Thank you very much for being today. It's been very informative, very interesting. Inspiring us in the chat. You have very comments here. Thank you, Dom. Okay, then we are sharing already before. It's a pleasure for us to have you here today, and of course, November. So now I will yield the floor to Noor, and she is one of our Global Teachers Club founders, to close this session. The floor is all yours.
Thank you very much for our great moderator, as usual, Marcela Villan from Argentina. Okay. Actually,
Sorry,
it's
but I have to say that I am repressing Patricia because Patricia had a problem and she couldn't make it on time. So that's why I'm here.
yeah, thank you for saving us. Yeah, because we have our own different jobs uh, uh, to facilitate the activity today, right? Okay, and first of all, also thank you very much for Say and Dom for just sharing all of the things. Yeah. I think this is new for me, especially with the Neuropack. Yeah. I'm waiting if there is another session later to, what is it, to do it with the students, maybe. Uh, Well, thank you very much for everybody. We get some more new members today, and then hopefully, we get more members around the world as usual, even though now in Asia, it's just actually our bedtime. But we are energized with the presentation from Say and Dom with the Neuropack. Again, thank you very much for being here consistently every month. Yeah, and next month there will be the gathering for the students as usual. And after that, we are going to have another session for teachers for the but for the next 2 months, right? Okay. Again, thank you very much for our great moderator, uh, Marcela. It's not because of I think there is Patricia already, yeah?
Oh, she has already entered. Okay, and
Yeah,
before we leave, can we take a picture together? Can you please turn
exactly.
on your
Okay.
cameras,
Yeah.
right, so
No,
that we can have our picture, right? Okay, thank you. Thank you, please. Okay, if you can turn on your cameras. Okay, here we are. That's right. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Okay, more cameras turning on. Wait a minute, right? Don't turn it off. It's 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
cheers.
Thank
Hand
you
over to
Thank you,
you,
very much.
Marcela.
everyone. Thank
Okay,
you.
it's been a pleasure to have you here. Thank you, Dom. Thank you, Shane, for being here with us. Very interesting in this. And remember, I am on the list, and some of us may be there as well, right?
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Marcela. Thank you, Auntie. Thanks.
Please, it's
Thanks,
been a
Tom.
pleasure.
See ya.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone. Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Stay blessed. Bye bye.
Bye.